Hello, Jen Rulon from jenrulon.com and Rulon Racing. Today, I want to talk to you briefly about my epic Ironman Florida 2019. My goal and what I set in my head is that I was going to do a 10:47:23. Saturday, November 2nd, 2019, I crossed the finish line to Ironman Florida with a time of 10:47:46. I was 23 seconds slower than what I wanted. And honestly, it was an epic race for me. Let me talk a little bit about my race, and I'm going to give you the Reader Digest version. If you want to know a little bit more and a little bit more specific, all you have to do is comment below and let's try to figure out what you need help with or what I did. But like I said, I respect your time. I'm not going to go into crazy amount of discussion because it would be a long vlog. So with that said, my swim time was a 1:16:11, which is about where I'm normally at. My best Ironman Florida time was a 1:10. I do feel like that year was short. My best lake swim is a 1:13. So with me coming out at a 1:16, honestly, totally fine with that. And that's sort of where my goal was. I told myself between a 1:10 to a 1:15, 1:16. And I'm okay with that. Now, here's the thing, with Ironman Florida, it's 2 loops, so you have to get out, and that's included in your swim time, plain and simple. T1 for Ironman Florida is a long transition. So I predicted about 5 to 7 minutes, and sure enough, it was a 7:26. Super happy with that. The bike, I knew that when we were going to go out, it was going to be north winds, so I knew I was going to be going into the wind, but consistently I looked at my power. I looked at my normalized power, and I knew that I wanted to be at a 135 average, which was hard because coming back, the wind was behind me, and so then my power and my watts dropped drastically, which is fine, but I came in at a 5:38:17. At one point, I thought I was going to maybe try to hold a 140 average or normalized power, but I realized that would have been too aggressive for me for riding. So I thought, okay, if I go down to 135, then I knew I could maybe knock out a 5:35. But then as I got tired, as I got fatigued, blah, 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 then I realized, and then with the wind behind us, you're just hauling ass. Like you're averaging 22 miles per hour with your power like at a 110. So then therefore my power dropped. So I was at about a 130, 131, which brought me in at a 5:38. But here's where it all began. I didn't know where I was at in my race or whatever. And I just knew in my heart of hearts that I can knock out a really good run because the run's my jam. I'm good at it. And so when I first started off on my run, I looked down, I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta slow down. But here's the thing, I knew I was gonna slow down regardless as time went on. So I just said to myself, you know what? You just need to go with it. You just need to go for it and just push as hard as you can for as long as you can. About mile 3, I said to the universe, I said, universe, there are 2 things that I need from you today. 1, if you want me to go to Kona, you are going to present it to me. It's going to be easy. Yes, you're going to Kona. No, you're not going to Kona, right? So I needed that. I said, if I am not going to universe, if I am not going to Kona, this is what I need from you. I need you to help me have the best race of my life. To cross that finish line knowing that I gave it everything that I got. Knowing that I can end my long distance career on a high. Because here's the thing, if you know this a little bit about me, is that when I say that I'm done, when I say that I have fini, I like to be done and I like to honor that. And I think my body, being 48, is also honoring just stepping away from long course triathlon. And I'm okay with that. So about mile 3, I said, all right, universe, I need 2 options. Either I'm going to Kona or I'm not. And I need to have the best race of my life. So when I got to mile 10, I looked down, I heard my Suunto watch go beep, 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 beep. And I looked down, I'm like, oh shit, I am running 8-minute miles. And in my head, I thought, oh my God, I'm running too fast, I'm running too fast, I'm running too fast, I'm running too fast. And I was like, no, you're not. You're running at where you need to be right now. You don't need to go into that negative headspace and think that I'm running too fast, right? So I got to mile 13, and at this point, normally I would have seen Chris going out for his second lap. When I saw a good friend of mine, or 2 good friends of mine, Chris was in the middle. And when I didn't see him in the middle of them going out, I knew that Chris pulled. And I saw him when I went to go grab my special needs bag. I saw him, I go, oh my God, what happened? He's like, I didn't have it in me. I pulled out, just freaking go and do your race. And I got a little emotional because I knew he wasn't out there, but I knew I just mentally had to be like, okay, you need to hold on tight to this. You need to hold on tight. You need to race this race for you, but you also need to race this race for him. And I got to about mile 16, 17. I was like, I'm not feeling very good. I needed to start taking in my Coke. So I took in my Coke. I took in my first endurance liquid shot still. And then about mile 20, I had that really, I'm going to throw up feeling. And then I heard from Dr. Stacy Sims, who wrote the book Roar, she goes, peppermint. And I had a piece of gum tucked in my shorts. And I put it in the side of my mouth, and I didn't chew it, but I just sort of grabbed some little bit of peppermint just to swallow it down. And that really seemed to help and soothe me. But another thing that I had was my little mouthwash in my special needs. And I took that, washed out my mouth, and I was like, oh my God, I have fresh breath. I have a little bit of peppermint soothing my stomach. And I knew that I can make it home. About mile 21, 22, if you look at my Suunto watch, you'll see that I did like a 9:08, 9:02. I realized that, I'm hurting. I am hurting big time. And I saw the base people and base salts and Jay. And Jay's like, Jen, you're almost home. Take it home. Have fun. Get home. And so when I looked down, I was like, oh my God, I really have 4 miles. I can do this. I can do this. So then this one girl, Alicia, and I passed her. She goes, Jen Rulon? I go, yeah, who are you? And she goes, I'm Alicia. She goes, I work with the Outspoken Summit ladies. I'm like, oh my God, that's awesome. And I passed her. And then as I wasn't feeling good, she ended up passing me about mile 23. And all of a sudden she just kicked it in. And I'm like, Alicia, I am staying on your feet. Let's go do this. So I started pushing it with her, and I tried to take in a Cliff Block, and it tasted so bad I had to spit it out. So then I kept grabbing Coke. And if you look at my last 3 mile splits, I frickin' pushed it hard. I got to mile 25, and there were some ladies with little slappers. And so I was like, ladies, slap my ass because I'm going home. And it reminded me of my lovely friend, Lizzie, in Arizona, but it also reminded me to have fun. I needed to have fun these last 2 miles because I knew in my heart of hearts that this is going to be my last Ironman triathlon. I knew it. I knew it was going to be my last. I knew the universe was telling me, Jen, you don't need to go to Kona. You've already been. And I knew that I was going to cross that finish line with a big ass smile. And I knew that it was going to be one of my best races that I've ever had. And it was. I crossed the finish line at a 10:47:46. My goal in my head, like I told you all, 10:47:23, 23 seconds off from what I told myself in my head. This lesson learned for myself was the mind is an amazing tool, but the heart is even more powerful. The heart knows when it's time to say goodbye. So with that said, my body needs a break. I'm going to take the next 6 weeks to really focus on me, focus on recharging as I head into 2020, because I have a lot more goals to accomplish. But I have to say, and this is going to be really hard to say, but this Ironman chapter is done. I've done everything I wanted to do. I'm going to go out with style. And if you've known me for a while, that's how I roll. I do it on my terms. Why change? Now, here's the thing. One of my friends is like, you got to do Challenge Roth. And I'm like, well, guess what? Challenge is not an Ironman brand race. So, but for now, yeah, I'm shutting this chapter. And it feels really good. So with that said, have a great, great day. And we'll talk to y'all soon.